Welcome to the Register's Report. My name is John Buckley. I'm the Register of Deeds of Plymouth County. This show is about Plymouth County real estate. Our headline for the month was recording numbers down across the board. I will say this is my 100th show at Brockton Cable Access Television. So the numbers in January, this being a February show, was a little down compared to what we've been saying over the last number of years. I'll be talking about those numbers. I have a great guest on the show, Mary D'Ambra of William Ravis Real Estate, who's also president-elect of the South Shore Realtors. And we're going to be talking about some of our great Plymouth County history. So let's get right to the numbers. Sales of property, let's go to first. Sales were down, whether it was the weather, whether it was the federal shutdown, or whether it's the impact of rising interest rates. It's hard to tell. People will decide that down the road. But there were 572 deeds recorded in January, less than the 808 recorded in December, down 19% from last January, and for the first month in the calendar year, down 19%. Mortgages were also down, and they've been down primarily because with the rates having gone up, a lot of people are not refinancing anymore. However, there were 1,098 mortgages recorded in January, less than the 1,345 in December, but down 27% compared to last January of 2018. So let's talk about an issue we've been following for many years, which has certainly been less of an issue as the economy has settled down. Foreclosures. For many years since the 2008 meltdown, we had very high foreclosure rates in every community of Plymouth County, particularly Brockton and Plymouth. There were only 34 foreclosure deeds recorded in the entire Plymouth County in January, less than the 44 in December, 38% less than last January, 56% lower than last time at this year. Significant drops. Same issues relative to foreclosure notices. A foreclosure deed, which I mentioned previous, is when a property has been taken back by a lender, usually for non-payment. Foreclosure notice is the first document we receive at the registry that shows someone's facing difficulty paying their mortgage for a variety of reasons. There were 69 foreclosure notices recorded in January, more than the 53 in December, but 19% less than last January. Lenders are getting caught up with that process. If you're facing some difficulty, call a federal housing counselor to help you out. You're going to see a list of foreclosures and orders of notice by all 27 communities in Plymouth County. Brockton and Plymouth, as I mentioned, have been the ones facing most difficulty. We've begun electronic recording for our land court, which is a big technology improvement. We do a free training session the first Thursday of every month. A very efficient way to search our website for people in municipal government or private entities, realtors, and others that use the registry system for their work. It's a great program. 9 o'clock. Thursday, March 7th is our next training. Call in advance because we have 8 hands-on spots. In the next segment of the show, we have Mary D'Ambra of William Ravis Real Estate, who's president-elect of the board for South Shore Realtors, talking about a lot of great things that those organizations do. See you in
Even if I tried, even if I wanted to.
Welcome back to the Register's Report. My name is John Buckley. I'm the Register of Deeds of Plymouth County. In this segment of the show, we always do something educational. We've had commercial real estate brokers. We've had many lenders. We've had surveyors, appraisers, and of course, realtors. Realtors are the backbone of the real estate industry, and I have a great guest here today. I have Mary Dambra. Mary.
Thank you, John.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
And Mary wears many hats.
Yes, I do.
And I'll start by mentioning that you're president-elect for South Shore Realtors.
Correct.
And you also are a realtor for William Ravis Real Estate.
Yes, I work out of the Norwell office.
Out of the Norwell office. Yep. And a couple other organizations that you're part of.
Yes, I am the membership director for Women's Council of Realtors South Shore Network. I've been involved in that since its beginning with different positions. I'm also the South Shore regional representative to Mass Association of Realtors, and I'm on the board at Mass Association of Realtors.
Great.
Yeah.
A lot of
yeah,
interest.
It all meshes.
Oh, good, good. So why don't you tell our viewers a little bit about how you got into the real estate business?
I've been a realtor since 2003. I was licensed and I immediately became a realtor. And I was interested in forming a career on the South Shore. So previous to that, I was working in Boston and I had young children and wanted to stay more local, and that allowed me to do that. So that was how I got into it, and I loved it. I've been very happy with the career. South Shore is a great area to be a realtor. It's wonderful.
So most realtors enjoy their profession.
I like to think they do.
Yeah, right.
I mean, you're helping somebody buy a house. It's really exciting. I mean, that's usually people's largest purchase of their life. Right from the first-time home buyer who's just, you can't contain their excitement, and all the way up. Someone could be buying a vacation home along one of the nice towns along our coast. You're also helping older people who are done with a large home and want to downsize into something more manageable or more accessible. So it's really an interesting career, and there's a lot of facets of it, but they're all great.
Great. So let's talk a little bit about South Shore Realtors, the organization itself, and some of the things that it does for its members.
So South Shore Realtors covers 24 cities and towns, and we span 3 counties, Plymouth, Norfolk, and Suffolk, that are all within, our towns are all within those counties. So we have 3,000 plus members right now, and we provide for the realtors in these towns all the way from single person offices to large franchise companies. We provide all the same services, which are education, tools for resources for legal opinions, help with getting different types of vendors that you would use. You know, we have a large affiliate membership to everything from a surveyor, an engineer, an environmental expert if you've got an issue with mold, attorneys, mortgage brokers. All of those resources are available for all of our members at South Shore Realtors. We provide statistics to our members so that they can understand what's going on in the market.
And where is your main office? I believe it's in Pembroke?
Yep, we're located on Scusit Street in Pembroke, right almost at the corner of 53 and 139, just a little bit down. So good location, central.
Pretty central to your district.
Yes.
Yeah. So let's talk about some of the main issues that the South Shore Realtors are advocating for right now.
One of the main issues is flood insurance, which the NFIP, National Flood Insurance Program, is set to expire again in May. And so through our Mass Association of Realtors, we advocate for legislation to increase homeownership, and that is one of our issues, is the flood insurance program. A lot of the homes that are along the coast, some of them are quite old, are at risk if they can't buy flood insurance. You can't sell your house to a new buyer if they can't purchase flood insurance to feel comfortable about that, about spending that money on a house of that nature.
So I know from some other guests that the term realtor is very important.
Yes, it is. If you are a licensed agent in the state, that does not necessarily mean that you're a realtor. Realtor is a trademark that is only available for licensees who belong to the National Association of Realtors, and therefore the Massachusetts Association of Realtors, and then your local associations such as South Shore Realtors. They subscribe to a strict code of ethics. That's the main difference when you join a realtor organization. You're subscribing to that code of ethics, and it covers relationships between realtors and also with the public.
So I know you're also required to have certain amount of educational training?
Yes, and we provide, through South Shore Realtors, we provide our members with the opportunities to renew their code of ethics. So you have to renew that on a regular basis as part of your membership. Also, for the continuing ed, we provide that at South Shore Realtors through webinars and in-person classes on a regular basis. We also have non-CE education going on all the time, bringing in, we've got a tax expert coming in to talk to realtors about, you know, most realtors are considered self-employed. So he'll be talking with realtors about the changes to their tax situation for the upcoming filings in April. And we have national speakers that come in and talk to us about all kinds of different things that realtors need, resources that they need to do their job.
Now, are your CEUs annually or biannually?
Biannually right now.
Okay. And how many do you need?
12.
12. Great.
Yes. And you can easily get them and more at our organization. There's
Great.
plenty to choose from.
So let's just talk a little bit about your main job with William Ravice Real Estate.
Yes.
You say you're based in Norwell. Whereabouts in Norwell?
We're right on 53, Assinippi Corner.
Okay.
So Route 123 and 53.
Which is under, a lot of construction right now.
It is. It is. We're all very anxious for the Merchant Row to reopen. You know, looking forward to some new restaurants and stores there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I went by there the other day.
Going quickly.
Yes, good. That's good.
Yeah.
So, what is your service area with William Ravice?
So we cover, we have several offices for William Ravice on the South Shore. I work specifically out of the Norwell office, but we have Cohasset, Situate, Hingham, Plymouth, Duxbury, you know, and on. And so we cover all of the towns that South Shore Realtors covers, and then we have offices on the Cape, et cetera, too. But in this area, we have a pretty large presence with William Ravis, covering all those towns.
So you're on the board of Mass Association of Realtors?
Yes.
And that's pretty much a larger grouping of the South Shore Realtors?
It's 24,000 realtors and 13 local associations, of which South Shore Realtors is one. So that covers the whole state. They're headquartered in Waltham, and they provide a lot of the same services that we do, and then some. There's a lot of advocacy for different legislation that may be coming up that we have meetings about. We go to Beacon Hill every June, all of us, all the realtors go and interact with our different representatives to help legislation that affects homeownership.
So you also mentioned another organization.
The Women's Council of Realtors.
Why don't you explain?
So the Women's Council of Realtors, a group of us on the South Shore formed a chapter, which is now called a network, of the Women's Council of Realtors, which is a national organization affiliated with National Association of Realtors, but there was not a local chapter of that. So a group of us on the South Shore got together and started that chapter, and we're growing it. And we hold usually early evening events where we bring in different speakers to come and educate us, and we also have some social time and networking. So,
and I was a guest.
You were a guest. You were a very favorite guest.
Oh, good. And I enjoyed both the presentation and the socializing.
Yes, we'd love to have you again, actually.
Sure, of course.
Yeah,
of course.
that'd be great.
Yeah. So let's go back to South Shore Realtors.
Yes.
You are the president-elect.
I'm the president-elect.
What kind of duties does that entail?
So I cover for Christine Silva, who is our current president. When she can't be in two places at once, she'll ask me to fill in for her. And I act as a liaison between our committees and task force at South Shore Realtors to our board of directors.
Because this is a volunteer organization.
It's a volunteer organization.
Your day job is
selling real estate. Yes. So if there's a state or local event that, again, Christine can't be in two places at once, then I would represent the association in her place until next year when I'll be installed as president.
And so the organization moves around.
Yes.
You go from president-elect to president to past president. So you're around for a while during those terms.
Yes, and before I was president-elect, I was treasurer for 2 years. Okay. And before that, I was a board member, a director.
Good. So what do you see coming up as we enter 2019 real estate?
Well, right now it's great that the weather has been pretty much cooperating. We really haven't had too much of a problem. That's sparked a lot of activity. An early spring market is great for us. I hope the weather continues to cooperate. Probably the biggest problem that we have is a low inventory. I believe December 18 versus December 17 for our area, inventory was down overall 13%, which is tough when you've got first-time home buyers looking and the selection is very small. So anyone who's thinking about selling their house and waiting for the spring, you don't need to wait. Now's the time to get your house on the market. There's very little competition, and there's plenty of buyers out there looking. So again, if the weather continues to cooperate, hopefully things will just keep on.
And for sellers, it's a seller's market.
It still is a seller's market.
Values are up.
Values are up, and it's really, like I said, a great time to sell your house. You're typically, if it's priced correctly, you're going to have more than one choice of a buyer.
So I said earlier in the show we had a drop in January of the number of recordings. Clearly there were some weather issues. The federal shutdown hasn't helped. Hopefully that'll be over by the time this show airs.
Yes, I hope so too.
And quite honestly, even a little bump in the interest rates has an effect.
Yeah. I mean, their interest rates are still low right now.
Unbelievable, historically low.
Which is amazing and makes things more affordable. And there's some great programs out there for first-time buyers, for veterans, or you know, if you're in the need of, if you're struggling with a down payment, there's some great programs that you can access to, you know, help you get into a house.
And first-time home buyers, millennials in particular, are coming along.
I mean, they're out there in droves.
Good.
You know, it's just, as I said, finding the house for them when the inventory is so slim.
Right. Because we all support home ownership.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's what we're all about.
Great. So as we wrap up our time, Mary, I'd like to have you share a couple contact numbers. First of all, William Ravis.
William Ravis in our Norwell office would be 781-659-6650.
Okay.
And at South Shore Realtors, 781-826-5739.
And if someone's interested in what's happening with the Mass Association or the Women Council of Realtors?
So probably their best bet for that is to go right onto their website. Okay. The Mass Association of Realtors just rolled out a brand new website, and there's some great information on there that that anyone can get. Also, you can get to it from our SouthShoreRealtors.com, and you can look at what's going on in our area. All of the statistics that we were talking about are on there, or there are links on there. If you're looking for any kind of information, it's a great place to go.
In the Women's Council of Realtors?
Women's Council of Realtors is WCR.org.
Okay. And that's how they would get information about coming to an event.
Yes.
Great.
Or Facebook.
Great, great. Well, thank you very much, Mary.
Thank you for having me.
A lot of information.
Thank you very much.
In a short period of time.
Yes.
There's a shelter pet who wants to meet you. Meet one today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org. Adopt.
So welcome back to the Registered Report. I want to thank Mary D'Ambra for her great description of the various organizations that she volunteers with, as well as her job with William Ravis Real Estate. It's always interesting to see how people help their members in these organizations. And South Shore Realtors is certainly one of the great organizations in the real estate community. This segment of the show, we talk a little bit about Plymouth County history, but I first want to mention the obvious difference in front of me, that we are celebrating my 100th show here with Brockton Cable Access, and we have a celebratory cake with the 100th show on the cake for the staff here that have helped me out so much over these 100 shows. It's great for me to be able to share information about what for most people is their most valuable asset, their home, what's the trend in the industry, and this is my show of thanks, minor show of thanks, I should say, for all the work they've done for me over the past number of years. We do one show a month based upon the numbers of recordings and a little bit about our history. So let's get to the history for February. Holidays for the month of February. Groundhog Day was the 2nd. Super Bowl was the 3rd. Lincoln's birthday was the 12th. Today, the 14th, is Valentine's Day. In 2 days, we celebrate Lithuanian Independence Day. Brockton has a tremendous section of the city called the Lithuanian Village. Many celebrations over the years celebrating that nation, which is one of the few nations that have had 2 Independence Days, both days when they were independent from Soviet Union first and then Russia, and then the holiday on the 18th day of February, President's Day. So we're going to go right to one of our notable land records. Fred Bakutis grew up in the village section of Brockton, and he was Lithuanian. He went to Brockton High, went to the United States Naval Academy, became a distinguished fighter pilot in World War II, led the Naval Task Force that recovered the Apollo 10 astronauts, and while serving in Antarctica, discovered a new territory and named it Brockton, Antarctica. Certainly a well-recognized name in naval history as well as Lithuanian history. Of course, everyone knows Lincoln's birthday, the 12th. People aren't aware of the history of the Lincoln family in Plymouth County. Samuel Lincoln, Abraham's great-great-great-grandfather, settled in Hingham, Massachusetts, after immigrating from Hingham, England, and he's credited with building Hingham's Old Ship Church, the oldest meeting house, continuing use in the United States. Another great story. Believe it or not, Hingham was at that point part of Suffolk County before it was added and chose to go back into Plymouth County. And last, we celebrate the Patriots' great win for the 6th Super Bowl. Many people don't remember who his predecessor was with the Patriots. It was Drew Bledsoe, and he was a great quarterback in his time. He was quarterback for the Patriots from 1993 to 2001. First draft choice in the 1993 draft. He was a starter in his rookie season, and he earned the Patriots their first postseason appearance in 8 years and led them to a Super Bowl appearance in 1997. Later on, played with the Bills and the Cowboys. A lot of great history in Plymouth County. And last but not least, we have a colonial record that basically the colonial court voted to have some of the colonists working on a canal, digging a canal from Duxbury Harbor to Green Harbor so ships could have safe passage and not go around the Gurnet. I want to thank Lorna Green Baker, Christine Richards, helping me put this 100th show together. I already thanked the people at Brockton Cable Access, but thank you again for the 100th show. And on this particular show, Aaron Thibault and Phil Philippides for their help with the camera in the control room. So thank you. Have a great end of the February. I will see you next month.